That would be one of the most un-American things that would happen in the last century. And I just hope it's not true.
The U.S. Senate Minority Leader reacts tonight to a novel proposal considered by the Trump administration to deal with immigration enforcement.
Sometimes I might disagree with them, but I never disrespect them. And I think that that style is going to allow me to be successful.
One of San Diego's newest council members is coming out as one of its most outspoken progressives.
The main character, of course, is Falstaff, but there is another character which for me is much more important, and that is life itself.
And the challenges of bringing Shakespeare's larger-than-life character to the opera stage. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. Democratic state lawmakers have introduced a bill to create a single-payer health care system for all Californians, including immigrants living in the state illegally. State Senator Tony Atkins and Ricardo Lara introduced the bill today.
We know Californians fully support health care and health for all, and so we're in this situation now responding to the looming threat from the federal government to dismantle the Affordable Care Act, and we need to be prepared.
State health insurance have long opposed such a government-run system, saying it could decrease access to quality care and lead to massive budget deficits. Laura did not have the details on how the system would be funded. In a statement, the senators said they would be talking about the details of the plan in the coming weeks. A draft memo obtained by the Associated Press shows the Trump administration considered a proposal to use National Guard troops to round up immigrants in the country illegally. It suggests using up to 100,000 troops to apprehend immigrants along the U.S.-Mexico border and in places as far north as Oregon and Colorado. The Department of Homeland Security says it was never seriously considering the plan, but staffers in the department say it was still being discussed as of last week. A former Army Secretary, Luis Caldera, says the use of the National Guard in this way could be illegal.
There's a federal law, Posse Comitatus Act, that prohibits the National Guard from being used for law enforcement. Now, the administration might argue they're being used to enforce federal law, not civil law in the state, but I think it's still a grave question mark.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called the proposal despicable.
That would be one of the most un-American things that would happen in the last century. And I just hope it's not true.
According to the memo, the governors in the 11 states would have had a choice whether to have their Guard troops participate in the program. San Diego refugee resettlement agencies are once again bracing for potential changes, with expectations of a new immigration order coming next week. Organizations have continued resettling refugees since President Trump's previous order was suspended earlier this month. It would have temporarily halted the resettlement program and banned Syrian refugees indefinitely. In his new order, the president could reduce the annual cap on refugees allowed in the U.S. This would also reduce funding for resettlement agencies. Catholic Charities Executive Director Robert Moser says that would have impacted operations in San Diego because many seeking refuge may still try to cross the border.
So the people are going to come, but the resources and the services to help them won't be there. And we're going to be, in our region, most heavily affected by that.
Moser says the agency would look for outside funding to cover that potential gap. SDGE is preparing to handle the aftermath of a major winter storm moving through San Diego. KPBS reporter Steve Walsh talked to the company officials to ask what they're expecting.
The storm is expected to be at its worst sometime starting around rush hour. These are supposed to be some of the worst winds we've seen since the storm back in 2010. We could see gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour. And what the folks at SDGE are worried about are these power lines here near trees, which could be down during the storm.
When you
see winds this strong is this can bring down a lot of trees, and when the trees come down into the lines, that can cause our power lines to come down as well. So it's important for people to remember, if they see power lines on the ground, that to always assume that they're live and to stay away and call 911.
Roughly 40% of SDGE's power lines are above ground. The company expects the highest winds along the coast. Depending on when the storm arrives, those high winds could continue well into this evening. This is the second storm of the winter. This storm is expected to be more powerful than a storm on January 20th, which knocked out power to more than 39,000 customers. SDGE are telling people that they probably shouldn't go out during the storm. If their power does go out, they're saying go ahead and use battery-powered lights instead of, let's say, something like candles. Reporting from near SDGE headquarters, Steve Walsh, KPBS News.
Strong winds are already causing problems around the county. These are images captured in downtown San Diego this afternoon. Strong winds are expected into the evening, then should drop off after 9 p.m. Stormy weather meant flight delays at San Diego International Airport today. More than 36 flights were canceled altogether, and others were delayed. Travelers are advised to check in with their airlines before heading to Lindbergh Field. Leave early, plan ahead, and don't expect to get anywhere fast. This is the advice coming from MTS officials, adding the weather may cause bus and trolley delays this weekend. Plus, Saturday, thousands of people are set to use public transit to and from Monster Jam at Petco Park. MTS has scheduled extra trains to accommodate these fans. MTS officials recommend commuters check the MTS website at sdmts.com/alerts or their Twitter feed for travel updates. And the storms are about to make California's record-breaking winter even wetter. KPBS science reporter David Wagner has an update from the KPBS Drought Tracker.
California's traditionally defined wet season, which stretches from October 1st to April 1st, is not over yet. But rain and snow levels have already blown past what normally falls during an entire season. As of Friday morning, statewide rainfall is at 142% of the seasonal average, and the average Sierra snowpack measurement is at 144%. Scripps Institution of Oceanography climate researcher David Pierce helped compile this data.
It's actually a record-breaking winter so far. So in the data we have, which goes back to generally about 1950, we received more accumulated precipitation to date in the state than in any other year.
However, some areas around Los Angeles have continued to stay relatively dry, but Pierce says this weekend storms are forecast to hit those areas hard. David Wagner, KPBS News.
Regina Miller will give us a look at what's ahead in our forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Election Day could become a holiday under a bill just introduced in Sacramento. It would apply to statewide and national elections. Its author says the goal is to make voting easier and to increase voter turnout in California.
In 2014, we had probably the lowest voter turnout in state history at 25% in the primary in 2014. That's abysmal. So we are looking at ways to expand this opportunity and make it easier for people to vote.
But the bill would apply to state workers and public sector employees. It would not include a mandate for private businesses to release their employees on the Election Day holiday. A state lawmaker is proposing California high schools and middle schools push their start times back to at least 8:30. Los Angeles County Democrat Anthony Portantino says the research shows the change will let students sleep more and perform better. And because many school funds are based on attendance, he says the change could also mean more dollars for school districts. That is, if they can resolve issues like transportation schedules in places that share buses. A San Diego assemblyman says victims of child prostitution should be allowed to sue pimps and johns. Today, Republican Brian Mainshine introduced a bill allowing those lawsuits. Mainshine says this is the first bill of its kind in the nation. He says the message is simple: pay to rape a child and you could risk losing everything. And one more bill to tell you about. It could make it easier to get a license to carry a concealed weapon. Right now, you have to show the sheriff's department you have a good cause to get a concealed carry permit. And each sheriff gets to decide what constitutes a good cause. A federal appeals court upheld that rule in a San Diego County case just last year. The new bill would define self-defense as a good cause in all 58 counties. Its author says current law doesn't prevent criminals from carrying concealed weapons.
Meanwhile, we will crack down on the criminals who are getting guns or purchasing them or getting them in the black market, however they're getting them. We'll crack down on them, but we're going to let law-abiding citizens have an opportunity to protect themselves.
If the law passes, residents would still be required to pass a background check and complete a training course before a sheriff could issue a permit for carrying a concealed weapon. The city of San Diego says it's making $25 million available to help build more affordable housing. The city's redevelopment agency, Civic San Diego, is now looking for project proposals. The agency says the funds will help meet a shortage of affordable homes. Chris Ward is the new District 3 representative on the San Diego City Council. He was elected in June and has quickly become one of the council's most outspoken progressives. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen has the latest in our series of council member profiles.
Alpha Square is a 200-room affordable housing complex in the East Village, and it's the kind of solution to homelessness that advocates say San Diego needs more of: permanent, supportive housing.
I appreciate your time. I just wanted to connect up.
City Councilman Chris Ward met recently with Bob McElroy, the CEO of the Alpha Project, which built Alpha Square.
They actually have a place where they could be a human being.
McElroy says he's frustrated with the slow pace of building permanent housing for the homeless.
If we're going to do, 800 units, which would make a dent in the downtown population, it'll take decades.
After talking through some of the problems of homelessness, Ward got a tour of Alpha Square.
Nice new facilities.
It includes a computer lab and a kitchen that isn't quite functional yet.
So while you're still getting this up and running, do you have a current food program then?
Homelessness is at the top of the agenda of many city officials, Ward included. Most of the city's homeless live in his district, which includes Hillcrest, North Park, and downtown.
Good morning. If anyone can hear me, I'm with the city, and we have subway cards if somebody is interested in taking a quick, brief survey.
Ward took part in last month's homeless count, where he interviewed a few people living on the streets.
Is there reason that you don't want to stay in a shelter, or is there just not availability?
He acknowledges a huge part of the problem is that the city just doesn't have enough money to deal with homelessness. He says 2016 was a missed opportunity for San Diego to ask voters for a tax increase to fund homeless services. Several such measures passed in November in the Bay Area and Los Angeles.
Los Angeles now is able to not only provide a local source of income for those kinds of programs, but use that as a seed money that will then attract state and federal money to match, even further improving on the kinds of programs that they can deliver for the Los Angeles community. And so if we're not even willing to look for local sources, we are missing out on other opportunities that are already out there.
Ward is gay and continues the decades-old tradition of having a gay or lesbian council member in District 3. But he differs from his predecessors in an important way.
How we grow for the next 30 years.
Ward has a child, Betty. She's about to turn 3. Like any dad, he's full of cute stories.
And she sits down and she goes, boom, shakalaka. I'm like, where did that come from? That is just absolutely adorable.
Ward says being a father is what drives a lot of his work. He says many other young families in his district are concerned about housing affordability and the prospect of their children being priced out of San Diego.
They don't want to escape to the hinterlands of the county, Temecula, or the suburbs. They want to live here in a community in the urban core that they want to live in. But we need to provide safe routes to schools. We need to make sure that we have healthy parks and that there's safe quality of life across, the entire neighborhood. So I get that, and I'm committed to that. And I think it's because I'm a parent of a young child that I'm so driven to maintain that perspective and act on it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ward is emerging as one of the leading progressive voices on the city council. Last week, he announced his first major policy proposal, an ordinance aimed at guaranteeing equal pay for women and minorities among city contractors. He makes no secret of his liberal values, but he says his style is open-minded and collaborative.
Building those relationships with Republicans, conservatives, other organizations, I think has been done over time because they know me as an individual. We're able to have honest conversation. Sometimes I might disagree with them, but I never disrespect them. And I think that that style is going to allow me to be successful because we're always going to have an open two-way conversation.
There's no shortage of problems facing District 3 residents, and there will be no shortage of those open, two-way conversations during Ward's next 4 years in office.
Thank you, Councilmember Ward.
Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
To see all of the profiles of council members, go to kpbs.org/citycouncil.
The Oroville Dam seems safe for now, but what about San Diego County dams? San Diego labor leader Mickey Kasparian is a power in local politics. We look at the allegations he's facing. And we learn more about why a planned Carlsbad power plant will be later and dirtier than expected. Join us at the KPBS Roundtable tonight at 8:30.
San Diego skies were gray for much of the day today ahead of rain. And it's not just rain, we're also set to get a 1-2 punch of heavy rain and gusty wind. Regina Miller has tonight's forecast.
Well, the rain coming into California has just been inundating areas, and we're going to continue to see that be a problem through the early evening hours and then for part of the nighttime before it starts to shift a little bit farther eastward. So we have flash flood watches in effect all across the area here with those heavy downpours, heavy bands of some rainfall, and we also have a high wind warning. It is not out of the question that we could see winds gusting 60 to 75 miles per hour. So we'll be dealing with the winds and the heavy rain. In fact, as you look at our future cast, we could see a squall line here as this the most of this rain shifts in. This is at 7:15 p.m., so that's some of the heaviest rainfall. That starts to shift eastward by midnight. We have some rain around the area. Diminishes in the intensity of the rainfall tomorrow for your Saturday. We're still going to see some showers around lingering into the area through your Saturday before we get a little bit of a break. So tonight, rain, heavy at times, and we'll see some heavy bands, maybe a squall line, a temperature of 56 degrees. And into Borrego Springs, 55 degrees. We'll be at 48 degrees in Alpine, Mount Laguna in the upper 30s. And for your Saturday, we have the heaviest threat starts to shift a little bit farther eastward, so southern Nevada, also into Arizona. That's where we'll see the heavy rain and storms in our future cast through Sunday. Beyond tonight, and as we go into Sunday, we'll see especially places like San Diego down to Chula Vista, over 2 inches of rainfall, and that's one day is most of that coming in. So Sunday, then we get some drier conditions with high pressure setting up before we see some rain for next week. Along the coastal areas, we'll see spotty showers on Saturday as the heaviest threat starts to lift out of the area after the morning. A temperature of 62. On Sunday, partly sunny skies, 61 degrees. Monday, partly sunny and 65. Variable cloudiness on Tuesday and 68 degrees. On Saturday, inland areas, you'll see some of those spotty showers around, a temperature of 65 degrees. Sunday, partly sunny and 66. Then partly sunny on Monday. We get a break from the rain as well. A few showers return to the area on Wednesday. It'll be cool with a temperature of 60. In the mountain areas on Saturday, periods of snow with a temperature of 45. Partly sunny on Sunday. Not as cool on Monday. We get into the upper 50s. In fact, we get into the low 60s then as we go into Tuesday with more clouds and sun. And then in the desert locations, we're going to see that rain gradually tapering off. Temperature of 66, partly sunny and nice for your Sunday. Monday, clouds and sun. We have temperatures getting into the upper 70s as we go into Tuesday, and then it's cooler for Wednesday. I'm Regina Miller, KPBS News.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, we hear from voters about their impression of the first month of the Trump administration. That's Friday on the PBS News Hour.
A young man and his mother leave Cuba for North Carolina. They were in search of better education opportunities. He finds that and an unlikely friend.
We left Cuba because we wanted a better life, so I could dream and have a better education here. The education here in Cuba are two different things. In here, the education is so broad, you can learn whatever you want. There was a lot of challenges that I faced when I came, but I think the hardest one for me was trying to learn the new language and the culture. I became part of ESL when I was in 5th grade, right when I came to the United States.
I remember when Carol arrived in Gaston County Schools. He arrived from Cuba. He'd arrived with his mother. My father had just retired, and so I asked if he would come in working with the kids one-on-one. Of course, when he came in, they kind of gravitated towards each other, and it was nice for Carol because having just left his country, knowing that someone else was from there is kind of a nice attachment.
And one day he come, the little fellow, and one thing that impressed me was that he showed respect. Respect for me, respect for the teacher, respect for the people. And I was surprised because he just came from Cuba. Well, the only people you respect is people in uniform. Why? Because they carry a gun.
The base of the Cuban education has communist ideas. The government just tries to blindfold us or brainwash us. The government tries to hide as much as they can about how communist they are, but people still get around the truth.
Carol, I think, struggled at the beginning, but he found a way to get involved in school. He was very outgoing. He really tried to take advantage of as many things as he could.
Now that I'm here in the United States, I feel like I'm a different person. I'm not the same kid that was running down the streets in Cuba. No idea what the future was holding for me over here.
He's going to make it. I mean, no question about it. He's going to make it. Because it's not only what he got in here, it's what he got in here.
This story is part of PBS NewsHour's series called New Americans. It's a collaboration with Student Reporting Labs and explores the struggles and triumphs of recent arrivals. William Shakespeare's character of Sir John Falstaff provided the corpulent inspiration for a 19th century Italian opera. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando looks at how a San Diego opera is bringing Shakespeare and Falstaff to life in Verdi's Falstaff.
If ever there was a character that deserved an opera, it would be Shakespeare's Sir John Falstaff.
He is an astonishing character in that he is extremely intelligent and loves life, and it's infectious with everyone around him. So that size, is perfect for the opera. Yes.
Edith Frampton teaches Shakespeare at San Diego State University, and specifically The Merry Wives of Windsor, the comedy that features Falstaff and that inspired Verdi's opera.
It is very much a celebration of life that we get through the character of Falstaff.
And the main character, of course, is Falstaff, but there is another character, which for me is much more important, and that is life itself. So the opera is an opera about vitality from the first measures of the orchestra. You hear the orchestra starts to speak, starts to laugh, and starts to say yes to life.
Olivier Tambosi says the greatest challenge in directing this opera is getting the timing right.
And the timing, for us, is connected at the same time with this incredible, rhythmical, complex, and for all the singers, wonderful, but at the same time, incredibly difficult score, which has to be performed meticulously.
This is the first time mezzo-soprano Marianne Cornetti has sung the role of the appropriately named Mistress Quickly.
Challenges comedically, too, because it all has to be perfect timing. If it's not, we lose. I lose. I lose the laugh. So I'm still working on that. Comedy is very difficult.
It's a comedy, but it has a subversive message. This is a play in which you have women taking on a powerful activist role. Women who decide to take matters into their own hands and beat a manipulative man at his own game.
If you just look at what he does, he is not such a sympathetic character. You would describe him as rather egocentric, focused on his own lust, on his greed for food, for women, for life, for money. But we all love Falstaff. As evil and childish he is, everybody loves him. Opera would be so much poor without this character.
And even the women he tries to dupe can't remain mad at him forever.
So everyone comes together at the end and forgives Falstaff for all of his faults, partly because in spite of the fact that he's greedy and manipulative, he can be incredibly charming at the same time.
San Diego Opera hopes to tap into that irresistible appeal of Shakespeare's iconic character with its latest production of Falstaff. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
San Diego Opera's Falstaff opens on Saturday and it has 3 more performances through next weekend at the Civic Theater. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with another look at Falstaff. Have a great weekend.
Pizzica, pizzica,